First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikah Quadash, and double honors to those green millstone, while learnt his truth, and also to those elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is Chicago Crackdown. So I like to say Shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope to sweep you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a quick one here by CNN Politics. It says here, Trump says Chicago will find out why it's called the Department of War ahead of planned crackdown. So let's get a little bit more of this report. It says here, President Donald Trump posted a meme on social media Saturday saying that Chicago will find out why it's called the Department of War, as the city official braced for an immigration crackdown. Said, I love the smell of deportation in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. Said the Post reads, Trump signed an executive order Friday to rebrand the Pentagon as the Department of War. The Post include what appears to be an officially, it says, the post include what appears to be an artificially generated image of the president wearing a hat and sunglasses with the Chicago skyline in the background, accompanied by text reading "Shy Apocalypse Now." So that's all we're gonna get of this. And I think I got a screenshot of that meme or that post that he put up saying that, that Chicago is going to find out, why they call it the Department of War. So right here, we know that things is already started I think in L.A. first. It started with the National Guard. Then he said they got the Marines, said it's for crime and also for deportation. So we have a lot of ICE also working with the local police. So they, basically we slowly seeing this police state coming into play left and right. Also, we seeing now that he's talking about he's getting ready to go into Chicago. But we know at some point that these citizens are going to rise up. Also, we knowing about Jake, who shall rise him up. So we know we coming upon that time. We know that Jacob's trouble is getting ready to kick out. Also, we know that World War III is constantly brewing. So these things are happening simultaneously. That's why the Lord set a watchman to warn you, whether you will hear or whether you will forbear. Because right now we in the thick of things right now. You know what I'm saying? Also, we know right now we are at the end. We seeing all these things are constantly popping. So we're seeing that right now, DJ Donald Trump, aka the cruel law, you know what I'm saying? Now he's boasting and bragging about, they getting ready to find out, F around, might as well say F around and find out about this Department of War. So now there's already rumors that they're already setting up a little bit outside of the city, with these ICE patrol, so he talking about he getting ready to bring in the National Guard. Also, it's rumors that I think other military agencies like the Marines, if I'm not mistaken, but I know that they are posting up outside of Chicago as we speak. They hadn't made a move yet, but they're saying there's rumors that they're getting ready to go into Chicago because of deportation, because of crime. But we already know who they're getting ready to target. It's people of colors, the Negroes, the Latinos, the Native Indians, the Mexican. I think they getting ready to have some type of celebration for the Mexican this weekend. So it's a lot of things that's going on. Also, I think it was some type of, I don't know, was it a Nissan plant? It was some type of plant in, I I want to say, I don't know exactly what state it was in, but a lady called these ICE patrols, so they locked down a whole plant and took a lot of people out. I can't remember. It happened a couple of days ago, but someone see this video, then they might can put it in the comment section. But one thing about it, we're seeing now that Trump he's walking in great pride. He's pretty much doing whatever he wants to do to make America great again. But we already know that America would never ever be great. You know what I'm saying? This place is getting ready to go. So right now, it's talking about crackdown on ICE patrol, crime. Also talking about the mentally ill people, constantly targeting the poor, the people of color. We're seeing it left and right. So every time when you look around, it's talking about Chicago, talking about Washington D.C. So it already has started in L.A. It started in D.C. It's getting ready to start in Chicago. And now they're talking about saying New York. So little by little, he's trying to reach that, I guess, his quota. But we already know what they're doing. They already setting up their plan. You know what I'm saying? This plan crackdown, plan lockdown. You know what I'm saying? Martial law. These things are getting ready to come into play. We already know that the sword and the destruction draws near. So one people shall stand up and fight against another. So it's setting the stage for what? Civil unrest, civil war, sedition. These things are coming into place. Insurrection. That's what we constantly warning you about each and every day. So let's read the title once again. So Trump says Chicago will find out why it's called the Department of War ahead of planned crackdown. So, we get ready to find out. This man right here, he's not going to stop till the Lord stop him. So we know right now that he's getting ready to make his move. Also, he's constantly putting these devices into place. So when things go down, this order out of chaos, could be an economic collapse, could be a black swan event, could be some type of psyop, but he's going to bring it. So we are very close. And every day, this man is on the move. The devils get ready to come down with great wrath. So now let's go here and get a quick precept before we open up today's lesson. Let's go here to Ezekiel chapter 7. We'll start up at verse 5. It says, "Thus said the Lord power and evil, and the only evil, behold, is come." Let's read in NLT. It said, "This is what the sovereign Lord says. Said disaster after disaster is coming your way." So exactly what we get ready to see. Disaster after disaster, calamity after calamity, catastrophes after catastrophe, death after death, destruction after destruction, the beginning of sorrow. We're here. These plagues are not slacking down for a moment. So let's read this once again. Verse 5, Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 5. "Thus said the Lord power and evil, and only evil, behold, is come." Verse 6, "An end is come. The end is come. It watches for thee. Behold, it is come." So right now, the end is finally is upon us. It's being revealed. It's obvious, being manifest right before our eyes. And a lot of people begin to see that, that hey, we're living in the end time. A lot of people begin to see that something is getting ready to go down. You know what I'm saying? That it is getting ready to hit the fan. Let's read this in the NLT. It says, "The end has come." Say, "It has finally arrived." Say, your final doom is waiting. So right now, so we're right here. So we have a few more prophecies to play out, but we know that we are so very close. So we are very excited. So we know right now that the end is fastly approaching. It's not here right off, but it's right. We right on it. But one thing about it is that so we're living in the last days. So you got to make your calling and your election sure. You got to seek the Lord, while he can be found, because when the Lord bring it, it ain't gonna be no more talking. We constantly warn you left and right, the severity, things are getting ready to get hard. Things are getting ready to get very perilous, dangerous. You know what I'm saying? A time of trouble that, you gonna pretty much wish you were, unalive or dead. You know what I'm saying? But these things are coming upon us at a fast pace. A lot of illing getting ready to go down. That's what we constantly warn you about left and right. A lot of unaliving. So that's where we at right now. So the stage is set. All things are ready. So now, let's go here to today's video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
Station, Great Lake, ahead of the Chicago crackdown. That's right, a.k.a. crime crackdown. This is Keith. the law enforcement OG. I've gotten 15 years experience in law enforcement, and I told you this was going to happen, didn't I? Anyway, let's get into the story right here. All the details. Federal agents are already on the ground just outside of Chicago, ready to go. Governor J.B. Pritzker confirmed that the federal agents are there, including ICE and CBP. That's right, CBP. They have begun staging at the Naval Station Great Lake in North Chicago. Now, that's not speculation. This is factual, coming straight from OG himself. That's right, law enforcement OG. Reports say around 30 agents have already arrived, training with shields, flashbangs, and crowd control tactics, preparing to move into Chicago very, very soon. The mission depends on who you ask. Either a crime crackdown or an immigration crackdown. I feel it's a little bit of both. What the White House call law and order, this is being viewed by Illinois leaders as a direct attack on state authority. Well, the state does not know how to handle their business, right? Governor Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson are already blasting a move, saying the city does not want or need their help. Federal enforcement help. But Trump has made it very clear, crystal clear, Chicago is ground zero for his federal enforcement agenda. So, while local officials stall and complain, federal boots are already staged, training, and waiting just outside the city limits to do what needs to be done. And you know what that is? That's finally getting some type of law enforcement.
All right, y'all. So CBS confirmed today that basically Trump isn't just targeting criminals in Chicago. He's planning a massive immigration raid. Okay, y'all. Sources are confirming to CBS News that could honestly include armored trucks, federal troops, and ICE agents that will be flooding Chicago City. Now, they had word from Washington that basically that the Trump administration is planning to conduct a major immigration enforcement operation in Chicago. This is wild timing because this is the same time as Mexican Independence Day parades that will be happening. They actually postponed those parades due to just worry about everything that's going on. This is in addition to the National Guard being sent here through the DHS. All right, y'all, they're saying that Chicago's Democratic Ranch City is predicted to spend over $2.5 billion on illegal aliens by the end of 2025, and this is the reason for the immigration raid, although we know that that's false. Also, they're stating that the ICE facility will be built in Broadview, Illinois, and that'll be the primary processing center location for the immigration. Now, per Fox News, okay, some federal staff are at the Great Lakes Naval Base just north of Chicago in Broadview, Illinois. The mayor of Broadview, a Chicago suburb, has basically said that a building in the town that would be used to be a primary processing facility, operations could be used for 45 days. They'll be sending over 300 new ICE agents set to carry out the immigration crackdown in Chicago, and this will last over 7 weeks, right along with the National Guard being there as well. So the feds are already here. Mind you, Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson are both stating that they do not agree with this and that this is a takeover for civil rights. And if we're going to talk about civil rights, let's recognize that citizens do not even have rights. There was never no civil rights. Gregory Bovino, who led the immigration processing out in LA, is now going to be the one that will be running immigration enforcement in Chicago, Illinois. Also, Pete Higgs said that he'll be getting 600 military lawyers to be the temporary immigration judges, okay, y'all, at the immigration centers. This is going to be pretty crazy. So we know there's going to be protesting. We know this. Everyone be safe. Cover your face. Cover your bodies. Be as safe as possible because it's going to get hectic in Chicago. It's already protesting going on in Chicago, as we know. And, like, at the end of the day,
So now let's start today's lesson. We'll start here first in 2nd Ezra chapter 9. Start here in 2nd Ezra chapter 9, a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. So we constantly see that these we constantly seeing these prophecies are constantly, rolling, man. They, left and right, and the warning has went out. Have been well warned. So we know right now that we are very close to these things being fulfilled, and also we know that World War III is constantly brewing left and right. I did a lesson yesterday about the king of the east. So, these prophecies are coming together just like clockwork. The Bible's speaking right now. And also the Lord is getting ready to return. We constantly warn you about these things left and right. Get your house in order. Get your mind right. Once it's getting ready to go down. 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1 said, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the sign pass, which I have told thee before. So how do we measure the time diligently, through the scripture? That is our measuring rod. This wisdom is knowledge, this gospel, to let us know how close we are to the last days, and also the great and glorious return of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Our salvation is at the door. Verse 2 said, then shall thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So the Lord right now is visiting the world which he made, because we seeing these things are constantly picking up. It's nothing slowing down. Things are constantly, moving. We seeing that time is being accelerated left and right. Cannot hardly keep up with the time right now. Every day when you get up, it's something is happening, something very significant left and right. So the Lord is constantly moving the chess pieces around. So he's visiting the earth that he created, also increase UFO sites across the world as we speak. And Jacob's troubles is out the door. The hour of temptation, the MOTB. We constantly go over these things left and right. Verse 3 said, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. So right now we're seeing earthquakes pretty much every day on a daily basis. And it's an earthquake is somewhere is erupting. It's going down. Volcanoes erupting also. So these things are happening left and right. Uproars of the people. We're seeing uproars all across the world. People are protesting. People are coming out in the street, coming against the government, coming against these corrupt leaders, that they have, right now in the White House, So it's a lot of uncertainty, and also a great divide. The Lord's called these things to happen. So we seeing, it said the uproars of the people in the world, so we constantly seeing. So that last video, we seeing that they was out protesting against these this military and also these ICE agents coming into Chicago. We know at some point it's going to be a war zone. Things are getting ready to get popping. Verse 4 said, then shall thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Verse 5 said, for like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and the end is manifest. So the end is being revealed. The end is obvious and clear that we're here. We're living in the end time, real time. These prophecies are lining up just like clockwork. Wake up, Open up your damn eyes, unstop your ears, because we are here. One thing about it, if you get caught sleeping, the Lord is going to show up. He will come like a thief in the night. And a lot of our people, are in for a rude awakening. So now, let's go here to Psalms chapter, let's go back to the blue letter. Psalm chapter 37. Psalm chapter 37. Just a quick lesson through the spirit, we come seeing these things left and right, man. We got to, stay prayed up, man. And constantly endure, man. Because the Lord, He's getting ready to show up. Our light affliction is only for a moment. Right now, we seeing a lot of things that we're going through, but it's just for a moment. The Lord is getting ready to exalt us. The Lord is getting ready to give us that immortality, that rulership, that spiritual power. We cannot wait. Psalm chapter 37 and verse 12, it said, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnashes upon him with his teeth. So we seeing right now the wicked is plotting against the just, and gnashing upon him with his teeth. So right now, his teeth is talking about his military, his technology. So we constantly seeing that left and right, constantly coming into these major cities, setting up this military, setting up their technology, which in fact include drones, robotic dogs, this AI direct energy weapons, all sorts of things that this man has at his disposal. And we're going to have the Lord, and not about who is the just, the Negroes, the Latinos, the Native Indians, and not about, he's getting ready to target the people of color. So before we go any further, let's go into this word, the plotted. Let's go in that word right quick. So this is exactly what they're doing. I looked it up. Let's go here to plotted. H2161.
Strong's H2161. Zamam.
It says here online of biblical use. It says to have a thought, devise, plan, consider, propose. So that's exactly what we're seeing, but the one we want is at the bottom. So it says here to consider, fix, thought upon, to propose, devise. The one we want is right here. It said to plot of a evil intent. So that's exactly what they're doing. They're plotting. They're, getting ready to bring that evil intent, which in fact is just what NWO, total control. So that's exactly what we're seeing. Let's look at the strong definition. It says here, it said to plan. It says usually in a bad sense, consider, devise, imagine, plot, purpose, think evil. So that's exactly what he's getting ready to do. He's getting ready to think of that evil, that evil plan, that evil device. He's constantly getting ready to bring forth, that agenda. One world currency, one world government, one world religion. That's exactly what he's trying to bring forth, total control, to make you what? A petrol slave. So let's go back out and read this once again. It says here, Psalm chapter 37 and verse 12, it said, the wicked's plot is against the just and gnashes upon him with his teeth. And out about it, so that's what he's getting ready to do. This devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath in the middle of the Lord. We're constantly warning you, left and right. A lot of people, still are thinking that, the so-called white man, he's not going to do it. Not all of them are bad. The Lord said every one of them are bad. You know what I'm saying? One thing, but there are the wicked that the Bible speaking says is right there. The wicked. Who is the wicked? Is the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. So this man is getting ready to roll on you. You know what I'm saying? We constantly warn you left and right. Let's read verse 13. It said, the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. So the Lord right now is laughing. How is he laughing at? Through his what? His mouthpiece, his prophet. So we seeing that his days are determined. We seeing that right now he got bounds that he cannot pay. He can't get over it. He can't get around it. He can't do a damn thing. It is what it is. We had to pay. Your ass is getting ready to pay. So that's the way it goes. You know what I'm saying? No one has gotten away with a damn thing. Verse 14 said, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, said, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Let's talk about the elect, the true believers of Yahweh, Baal Shem Shai. So we already know they got them ready to go. Let's read in the NLT. Said, the wicked drawn their swords and string their bows to kill the poor and the oppressed, to slaughter those who do right. So that's plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? The key words there, you know what I'm saying, to what? To ill, and the other one is to oppress. So that's where we at right now. This man right here is getting ready to make his move. This man is the harbinger of death. Verse 15 said, their swords shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. So exactly what's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready, tables are getting ready to turn. We see it right now that, the Lord is constantly moving the chess pieces around. And also we know right now that this man is getting ready to be taken out of rulership, by violence. He started with violence, going to end with violence. Since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee, when you go to Ezekiel chapter 35. So now let's go here to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 59. Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. Straight to the point. We'll probably close out right here. See here. It says here, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. So when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. So that's what's getting ready to happen. That flood going into a military flood. This man is getting ready to try to bring forth these draconian laws. This total dictatorship. He's imagining that he, his inward thought that he will rule forever. But one thing about it, we seeing now this man is slowly, we seeing that the Lord is making him barren and barren. We seeing right now that we're at the end of this man's rulership. We're in that transition of power. We're seeing that America is constantly circling the drain. The fall of America, Babylon the Great, the most wicked kingdom that ever was erected. But when they come in like a flood, the Lord is going to lift up that standard. That supernatural intervention is getting ready to come into play. Things beyond our comprehension. The Lord is getting ready to stand up for it. That's why the Lord said, wait on me until I rise up against the prey. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Chicago Crackdown. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.